You're rolling.
Hi, I'm Michael Porter from Harvard Business School. How are you, Behnke? Okay, wait a minute. That was my first thing.
That was a good one.
Okay.
Oh.
You guys all leave the room now.
I'll leave. I'm gonna go read this anyway.
Watch out.
Look out, man.
Drag it down the hall.
Leaving the tail.
What do you think about it so far?
Decent. You can make any corrections. It's fine.
Yeah, just right all over that.
Right on that thing. We'll go make it
Was it Conic or Conk? What? Conic. C-O-N-C-K. Was it? I thought it was C-O-N-O. Check.
C-O-N.
C-K.
Huh?
C-O-N-C-K.
Is it?
Conk.
Yeah, I'll tell you real quick.
You're rolling.
Hi, I'm Michael Porter from Harvard Business School. And today I'd like to talk to you about my competitive international strategies. As you viewed in the past two tapes, I had my corporate level business strategy and my business level business strategy, two very exciting tapes I might add. Today we're going to talk about the international market. And the reason I'm doing this tape is because 5 young gentlemen from Mississippi State University approached me by phone the other day, approached me about doing a small series on my international competitive strategies because they had looked at the other tapes and they didn't find it in there. So I agreed with their help to create this. As I understand, they're doing it on Caterpillar. Caterpillar International, a very good company, known throughout the world. And so I agreed to do this for them today, and what we're going to do is we're going to go over my 6 competitive international strategies, and I'd really like to talk to you about that today, so we're not going to delay and get right started. So, how you doing, Dr. Spencer? They wanted me to say that. My first international competitive strategy is the growing similarity of countries. Now, this is a very important issue in today's world because as countries develop, they're becoming more similar. Got a lot of similarities. And the reason for this is that, as I've seen some of my other ones, it's basically technology, along with other things, such as borders and stuff like that. They're all dwindling down to one global market. So a very good thought to have when you go into business internationally is that the countries you will be in, representing, or whatever, are going to be very similar. This similarity will transfer into profits if you can utilize the growing similarities of countries. Now, building on that first point, we want to talk about fluid global capital markets. The thing about fluid global capital markets is that I can go anywhere in this world, get any currency from any bank. Now, if that's not fluid global capital markets, I don't know what. I can be in Brazil. I can go to the Brazilian bank where Caterpillar has its account. I can go in there, I can get American dollars. Or I could talk to some Brazilian investors to give me American dollars so that I may use to build my Caterpillar plant. I could do that. That is fluid global capital markets, a very, very important issue in today's market. Because your investors may not just come from one country. They could be from all over the globe. OPEC, anywhere. So, once you start thinking about these fluid global capital markets, and that the yen can equal so many dollars and so many dollars equals yen, that is a very powerful weapon to understand that knowledge you have of these fluid global capital markets. And I can't stress this enough, that this is really important, you know. As we see in the European economic community, right now, you know, they're looking for one capital. That's just one EC currency. That's very important. That's very powerful. Very powerful to have one currency. But right now, they can go anywhere in the world and get their currency anywhere in the world. So that brings me to number 3. Falling tariff barriers. is this not just the issue of the day? I think this really is the issue of today. Really the issue of today. Falling tariff barriers. Look at the NAFTA treaty. You got to look at the NAFTA treaty. That's what you want to look at, because that's a very important treaty to us right now in this day and time. Can you believe free trade between Mexico and Canada? I really can't believe that myself. I mean, that's just a concept that's come along, and I really can't believe it. So when you're thinking about international strategies, you got to remember that these tariff barriers won't be falling all around you. Soon it'll be just like one big company or country, and you won't notice the difference. So what I'm talking to you about today is falling tariff barriers. Look at the EC. Once again, the EC is a great example. Great example of the EC. They're trying to, right now they've got it so that most of the borders down there are having a little problems. Like we talked about, fluid global capital markets are having a little problem with the currency right now. That's okay. They'll work it out. But right now they got those borders, they're dwindling down, and the tariffs are leaving. So this has become a very important issue, because if you're in Mexico right now and you're producing goods, and these goods are costing, let's say these goods are costing you, I don't know, it could be any amount of money. We're just going to come right over here. These goods could cost you, I'd say, these goods cost you $100 to make. These goods cost you $100 to make. You have to pay a 10% tariff barrier to the United States. That's 10%. Now, quick math shows you that adds a quick dollar. And if I add another zero, that adds $10.
10% of 100.
If I add another zero, that's $100. Right now, this thing that costs $10,000.
10% of 100 is 10.
10% of 1%. Where's it go?
It's gonna be like an hour.
No, it's not. This is fun.
You're doing great. He's only been going for 6 minutes.
That's long.
We want like 10 minutes. I'll speed it up. Where should I start?
Go back to, all right, go walk.
Well, what if I start right here, drawing 100?
Okay,
Yeah, we can
go for it.
You guys are laughing. I'm going. I'm not thinking here. Okay.
It's a billion, then it's a million. It's a trillion, it's a billion.
Okay. All right. We have a product in Mexico that costs $100. We have to pay a 10% tariff on that. We pay 10% on that. That's $10. That's $10 added to that cost of that thing. So already that's going to be transferred to the consumer. And that's just a $100 item. What if it was $1,000 in product, or just one product? We add another zero here. That's $100. That's $100. Then you add in things like, shipping and handling. That's going to add on more prices and everything. When you come right down to it, this product that costs $1,000 is going to cost you somewhere in the neighborhood of $1,500. $1,500 is a lot of money. You take off this barrier right here, this tariff barrier, and we call that a tariff barrier. Tariff barrier. You take off that tariff barrier. This $100 thing is now $1,400. I'll buy that at $1,400. I will not buy that at $1,500. If you look at the supply and demand curve, supply would go up, demand would go up. Everybody wins in that situation. Which brings me to my next point. Technological restructuring. Another very important issue today. Technological restructuring is the thing of the future. It's the thing you want to do. It's the thing your company needs to do. If you look at Caterpillar, which these nice gentlemen were so nice to call me and get me to do this, because I had not really thought I wanted to do this. But if we look at Caterpillar, they are a prime example of technological restructuring. They have a new thing it's called a plan with the future. That's a plan with the future. They group things into work cells using modern technology, just-in-time inventory. They're reducing workspace by 21%. That's technological restructuring right there. Technological restructuring. They're reducing workspace by 21%. That's going to allow them to produce more products. There's different products. That right there is power in itself. International power. When you build more things cheaper. So that is a very important issue. Other times, you know, computers, people upgrade, everything like that. Technological restructuring, I can't stress that enough. Number 5, the integrating role of technology. We've really seen this come into its own maybe in the last few years, the early 80s, 1980s, when computers really started taking off. You know, everybody could afford the PC home computer. That was really taking off back then. Satellite dishes, satellites in space, everything like that, making information flow from one place to another. Integrating role of technology. What does it does? Technology, the freedom of information nowadays, it reduces borders and distances of those borders. It is nothing for me to call England nowadays. I can call up and call my grandma in England, and that's no big deal for me anymore. You know, I can call anyone anywhere in the world, and that is information. That is power. Integrating role of technology. Technology is power. In the international market, with technology, there are no borders. You can fax something to India. Hindu can get it. I don't know who Hindu is, but he could get it. That is power. And last but not least, and I'll step out of the way here so you can see it, is new global competitors. The U.S. really caught wind of this when Japan stepped into the market. When Japan brought their cars over here that no one thought they would sell. Well, let me tell you something right now. Japan is one of the top American car manufacturers, and they're not even American. New global competitors. Nobody ever thought Japan would come into the global market, but they did. They came into the global competitive market. And if you look at CAT, right now they're going head to head with Komatsu. They are global competitors. They are fighting on every country in this world. They are battling for territory. They are battling for profits. They are battling for their shareholders. It is a global, there are new global competitors. They're coming from everywhere. Japan, Brazil, from Middle East, Europe. These global competitors come in anywhere. Why? Because there's no border. Why? Because there's a growing similarity of countries. Why? Because we have fluid global capital markets. You can get money anywhere. Why? Because there's falling tariff barriers and there's no more protectionism. You can get products easily anywhere in the world. Why? Because we have technological restructuring. That means that things are done faster, cheaper, and on a more integrated barrier. Anyway, integrating the role of technology, which also can increase the threat, not the strength of the opportunities, but the threat of global competitors. That integrating role of technology, that increases the threat. I believe that pretty much summed up what we had to say about international competitive strategies. We just keep these in mind. Growing similarity of countries, once again. Fluid global capital markets, we talked about that one. Falling tariff barriers, technological restructuring, integrating the role of technology, very important. And finally, that there is new global competitors. This is a global market. This is a global market nowadays. We need to listen and learn from the past and to look towards the future, because that is where our profits will be made in the future around the globe. I can't stress this point enough, that this is a global capital market. And if you believe that, and if you take that knowledge and you apply it, you will go as far as these 5 boys who contacted me last week. They should go a long way in life. And I can't say enough about it. It really gets me right here. But unfortunately, I have another class, and I thank you for your time. I hope this presentation helps everybody here. And
I'm Michael Porter. Good day. God, Jake, there's no way. The vanity of that funny shit's gonna wear off. in about 3 minutes, so we need to make it about 3 minutes.
We can do it.